Hi there, my name is Sam from Verse.com and welcome to a new comparison video between the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II and the iPhone 12 Pro Max. We are comparing both phones in terms of display, performance, camera, design and battery. Stay tuned and find out which phone is in our opinion the better phone. If you'd like to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Let's start straight away with our review. Let the facts speak. Display. The Xperia 1 Mark II has a 6.5-inch cinema wide display, which means it has a 21:9 aspect ratio with a 1644p resolution. It uses a 4K OLED screen which creates crispy sharp images. The 6.5-inch display therefore measures 16.5 cm diagonally with a pixel density of an incredible 643 ppi. The screen only has a 60 Hz refresh rate, but it uses motion blur which creates the look and feel of a 90 Hz display. The Xperia features a great display with one of the highest resolutions we compared so far. Let's take a look at the iPhone display. The iPhone 12 Pro Max has a 6.7-inch display with a 1284p resolution. The 6.7-inch display therefore measures 17 cm diagonally with a pixel density of 458 ppi. The iPhone's OLED screen creates as usual very natural colors. The refresh rate on the iPhone 12 Pro Max is 60 Hz. In our review between the Xperia 1 Mark II and the smaller Pro version of the 12 series, we decided to let the Xperia win, because it had a high resolution and pixel density, and a bigger screen. But this time we have the bigger screen in the iPhone, which is bigger than that of the Xperia. Still, we let the Xperia win again, because the difference of the screen size isn't that big, and the Xperia still has a high resolution and pixel density, and it even tries to pretend to have a higher refresh rate, which is something you can't say about Apple, and therefore the point goes to the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II. Camera. The iPhone 12 Pro Max has a triple rear camera system. It features a 12 megapixel ultra-wide, a 12 megapixel wide and a 12 megapixel telephoto camera. The front's camera resolution is also 12 megapixel. The iPhone 12 Pro Max records 4K videos at a maximum of 60 frames per second. And of course it has image stabilization for video. The 12 Pro Max also has a sensor shift optical image stabilization for its wide-angle camera. Apple's take on building the best camera system is not to put the highest amount of megapixel into the newest phone. They try to improve the system itself, which in my opinion is the right way to do things. Let's find out what Sony is working with. The Sony Xperia 1 Mark II had three main cameras: a 60mm ultra-wide, a 24mm wide-angle and a 70mm telephoto camera. Each camera has a resolution of 12 megapixel. The front camera's resolution is 8 megapixel. The Sony Xperia 1 Mark II records 4K videos at a maximum of 60 frames per second. And of course it has image stabilization for video too. Both phones have good camera systems, but which one is actually the better system? Let's take it to our camera test and let's find out which one does a better job. The pictures taken with the iPhone 12 Pro Max are as usual sharp and the colors look really natural. Pictures taken with the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II are, as for Sony camera systems, usual, pretty sharp and sometimes they seem a little bit too sharp. And the color rendering is okay. Overall we like the color that the iPhone created more, because they appeal more natural to us. In case of the front camera, the iPhone took sharper images. The 12 Pro Max has a 5-fold optical and a 12-fold digital zoom feature. The Xperia 1 Mark II on the other hand has a 3-fold optical and a 3-fold digital zoom feature. The Xperia 1 Mark II, thanks to a resolution of 4K, produces first-class videos. With 120 frames per second in 2K mode, you can do slow motion videos, but not as slow as the iPhone. The iPhone, thanks to a resolution of 4K, also produces excellent videos. You can record slow motion videos with up to 240 frames per second in Full HD mode. Even though we really like the Pro apps on the Sony Xperia, the point for the best camera system in this comparison went to the iPhone. It is just the overall better system in terms of video and photo quality. Performance. The Sony Xperia 1 Mark II has 256GB internal storage capacity. It is equipped with a super fast Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 chip with 1x 2.84 GHz, 3x 2.42 GHz and 4x 1.8 GHz and has 8GB RAM. Storage capacity can be expanded by up to 1 TB. At this point, the Snapdragon 865 is still one of the top-notch processors, even though Qualcomm already announced a newer version. Let's see what the iPhone works with. The iPhone 12 Pro Max is equipped with Apple's A14 Bionic chip. The phone has 6GB RAM and the individual models offer different storage capacities. 128, 256 and 512GB are available. Storage capacity unfortunately cannot be expanded as it is typically for Apple iPhone devices. The A14 Bionic chip in the smaller version of the iPhone 12 Pro lost against the Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 in our first review. Will Apple's software-hardware implementation take the win in this one? Or does the Snapdragon do a better job again? Let's take them into the Antutu benchmark test to find out. The tests are divided into 3 phases. A performance test of the RAM, a test of how the device is handling 2-dimensional graphics, and an endurance test of how the device is handling 3D graphics. It just so happened that the A14 Bionic chip has more power with a bigger version of the 12 Pro line. Therefore, it takes home the win in this comparison. Design. The Sony Xperia 1 Mark II has a clean design with a glossy finish. The triple camera system is well positioned on the upper left corner on the back of the phone. We noticed that lots of flagship phones have really big camera bumps. Sony did a good job by reducing theirs to an acceptable amount on this phone. The smartphone weighs 181 grams, it's roughly 16.6 cm long, 7.2 cm wide and 0.7 cm deep. It is water and dust resistant thanks to an IP68 rating. The Xperia 1 Mark II has, like every modern smartphone, a USB-C connector. You can unlock the phone via fingerprint scanner, which is built into the power button on the right side of the phone. One thing that you cannot find in most of the new flagship phones is an audio jack. The Xperia 1 Mark II still has one, which we consider as a bonus point. We told you guys that we really like the Xperia design. Next up, the iPhone. The iPhone 12 Pro Max has a glossy stainless steel frame and a matte glass finish on the back. Typically for Apple, it has a very high-end look and feel to it. The triple cameras are well positioned on the upper left corner on the back of the phone. The smartphone weighs 228 grams. It's roughly 16 cm long, 7.81 cm wide and 0.74 cm deep. It uses Apple's Lightning connector and is IP68 rated, so it's water and dust resistant. And it is supposed to be 4 times more drop resistant than previous models. The iPhone uses face recognition technology to unlock the phone. The Face ID as usual works perfect at daylight and also good in a weak light environment. So, since we call it a draw in the previous comparison between the 12 Pro and the Xperia, we gotta call it a draw again in this one. We think that both phones feature excellent designs. What do you think? To which phone would you have given the point to? Let us know in the comments below, we'd love to hear what you think. Battery. The Sony Xperia 1 Mark II when fully charged has around 4000 mAh. The iPhone on the other hand when fully charged has only around 3687 mAh. In terms of capacity, Sony has a slightly bigger battery than the iPhone. Let us find out which phone lasts longer in our day-to-day usage test. Even though Apple's decision to put a smaller battery into their new lineup of iPhones wasn't the best decision they made, it didn't help the Xperia to defeat the iPhone in this category. The iPhone lasted longer in our day-to-day usage test and therefore wins this point. Conclusion. Let's see which of these phones won this comparison. Let's collect the points to find out. First, the display. Even though the iPhone has a slightly bigger screen, the Sony Xperia won this point, because it had a better resolution and pixel density, which creates better images. The performance point won the iPhone. It outperformed the Xperia and the Antutu benchmark test. In terms of camera system, the iPhone won again. We couldn't decide on which device we should have given the point for the better looking phone to. Therefore, both phones got a point in the design category. The last and final point won the iPhone, even though it is one of its weak spots. Overall, the iPhone scores 4 points and the Xperia only 2. That makes the iPhone 12 Pro Max the winner in this comparison. Naturally, we review more than these 5 categories covered here. If you want to see the full comparison, follow the link to our website. You can compare up to 7 different smartphones at versus.com. But before you do that, please post your comments and let us know which phone you think ranks first. If you liked our video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Till then, take care and see you soon.